go back into the regular session.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Please, you call the roll.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Reagan?
Yes.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. I've got a motion I'm gonna put on the floor. No decision on resolving settlement of the pending litigation in both separate courts, and this will be brought up at the next meeting. I'll put that form on the motion.
Motion. Oh, second, I'm sorry.
Discussion. Mr. Williams, you call the roll.
Mr. Reagan?
Yes.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, the second motion, we've
Wait
got,
a minute then, I need to state that there was no action taken in executive session.
okay.
Lauren, can you put that on that motion?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. All right, then the second motion I got is to sustain the definite suspension of Jim Miller. I'll put that form on motion.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Williams, you call the roll.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Reagan?
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion. Motion to have the judge executive and the fiscal court conduct a full investigation of allegations of the animal shelter center and that the county employees cooperate with this investigation. Make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion. Ms. Williams, you call the roll.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Reagan?
Yes.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, we'll start our public discussion. Any member of the public wanting to speak before we start, all comments will be limited to 3 minutes with a 1-minute rebuttal. And the judge executive reserves the right to shorten or lengthen the time allotted to each speaker. And Deputy Judge Lisa will be our timekeeper. So we'll start off with Mr. Gary Board, the first one on the sign-up sheet.
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Next person signed up is Kathy Rice.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kathy.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kathy Rice. I'm co-founder of nonprofit animal welfare organization called Pets here in Bullitt County. And in lieu of the video that everyone is so aware of, I just felt like there's a few words I wanted to speak to you about, a few things. I do want to start, even though I am here to represent the animals in Bullitt County, I would appreciate if you all, when you do your discussion as far as allowing Mr. Miller to retain his position of director, which you consider some business decisions. As leader of Hope for Pets since our inception in 2005, our volunteers and our board of directors are direct representatives and speakers for our organization. And I know we have some wonderful people, some wonderful representatives, but not, and they're hard workers, but not all of them are appropriate to be put in front of the public eye. They don't always portray the public image that we want to portray for Hope for Pets to the public. So they are so much more valued in another area, so that's where we use them. I feel like the department heads and the directors of this county are in that same position. They directly represent this county, they directly speak for the county. Now, not all department heads and directors deal with the public, but the director of the animal shelter does. They deal with the public and they deal with other organizations. And I feel like we need someone in that position that will represent our county well. And so, I'm not trying to bash Mr. Miller. He may be personally, may be a very nice person in another environment, but he is not the person to be running our shelter. And you have direct evidence of this, of videos. I have personally experienced it myself at the shelter. And so I think we need someone in there that does have the compassion for animals, and they will represent our county well. So now I want to address the slurs that were made, the racial slur and the sexual slur that was made. They speak for themselves. I would now like to speak for the animals. I looked up, excuse me, Kentucky statutes follows the recommendation and guidelines of the American Veterinary Medical Association when it comes to euthanasia. All right, they have a special section there. I have copies for you all that I'll give out when I'm finished. That talks about the animal shelter environment. The way that these cats are being euthanized is nothing short of torture. And it takes something as simple as giving them an oral medication before they do that. So they're basically sedated before they're given that shot in the stomach. Judge Roberts, I know you and your mom have numerous cats that you all feed and take care of, that you take them in. A lot of them have gone through our program to be spay and neuter. So I want you all, whether you have a pet or not, to visualize an animal being picked up, okay, and stabbed in the stomach not once or twice, but maybe 3 times before that animal is actually euthanized. And we're not putting them to sleep, we're killing these animals. So we have a spay and neuter clinic, we get feral animals, we get tame animals. But just because these feral animals are feral because of a careless...
Your time is up.
Oh, it's up. I'm sorry, Coach, it's about up. Okay, everyone, more sentence.
Your time is up.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
And out of respect to the other people who have signed up.
I'm not being disrespectful, I thought you said the time was about up.
That we adhere to the rules. So with that said, we'll do a one minute another. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. These folks may answer any of your questions. These magistrates may make a statement if you so desire. All right, Ms. Rice, you have a 1 minute rebuttal.
Okay, all I want to do is for you all to take this opportunity to make a decision not to let Mr. Muller come back and retain his position as animal control officer or protector. I'm not asking you to do this for me. I'm not asking you to do it for anyone else. I'm asking you to do it for the county and its image and for the animals. I'm sometimes termed a crazy animal person. I take exception to the crazy, but I will say that it's a compliment because that tells me I've got character, I've got the grit and fortitude to stand up for what I believe. So I will take this into consideration. Do you all want a copy of the KRS statutes?
Thank you, Ms. Rice.
You're welcome. Thank you for, here's the, that's the KRS definitions and that's what it states as far as the shelters.
All right, the next speaker, Patricia Parsons. Parsons, I'd like to remind you for 3 minutes.
Okay, let's start. As you know, we all have personal business with Jimmy. Jimmy's always been good to me, but it seems like after the election, Jimmy has took a really bad turn. I've had several instances where people have called me to come and pick up their animals. That's Jimmy's job, not mine. He has told them he has no traps. He has nobody to stay at the shelter while he leaves. He has no permission to go on the personal property of people, like McDonald's that has called. I went and my friends, we have picked up 7 kittens. As I walked in, I had 3 of them the first night, and Jimmy said, "You're safe." He said, I said, I know that, Judge, but I'm just telling you what he says. He said, I walk in and I said, "I've done your job." And he says, "Trish, You know I don't like cats. So I go in the back, and the cats are in litter boxes, they have nothing to lay on, and the dog had nothing to lay on. So I come out and I said, Jimmy, why do they not have anything to lay on? And he said, if you think you can do this effing job better than me, then you can do it. So that is not what we want at our shelter. Thank you.
The next speaker is Kim Russell. Ms. Russell, remember the pre-announcement.
I was like your lines to know remove the above the floor handstand, bought specifically for dog kennels. And why the cats are not even allowed to have something besides a litter box to sleep in. I was told that he did not want the floors to be scratched. That they would pay $4,000 to have floors resurfaces, but I don't think that's important. I need to take care of the issue.
Court got any comment? Anybody? All right, our next speaker is State Representative Linda Belcher.
Good morning, Linda. Good morning. Several weeks ago, I spoke to the judge concerning a project that I would like to pursue with your blessing. There's land out there that's owned by the county, and we would like to consider maybe making it into garden spaces. So if that's something that you have no objections to, I would like to be able to pursue that idea, use extension office help. But also I need to know where the county properties are so that we can let them and find if there's anything that would be appropriate to use for people to be able to make gardens out of. So, any questions? Suggestions?
Only question I was wondering is, that'd be awesome. It'd be great to have a finished thing. But I would want to get with the legal part of it, the leasing part of it, the insurance part of it, to make sure that whoever's using the property is, if it's with a whole,
But they do have one of these in the North End. And if you all are in favor, I thought maybe I could talk with people out there and see what they get done. The other thing is, Jayla Knox has said that she could use inmates to help with this project. So again, this would be something that would help the county. To me, it would be a plus for those people who maybe don't have space for a garden. So I would, like I said, I'd like to pursue it if you feel like it's something that Bullitt County would be interested in. And we need to know where the land is.
But there's also different parts of the county. County homes and everything now from the FEMA properties. From the west end, the north end, and then some part of the county also. And we lease that out on a year-to-year basis.
And Mr. Mitchell, I was really hoping you might want to kind of volunteer for this project. So I'm so glad you spoke up.
We got to hold all that stuff up.
No, we can have General Knox's fellas and girls do some of that, and we could maybe get some things done that are positive for our county. I'm done unless you have other questions. Not yet, you're my first group.
county judge's office and get it back up. Get all those property, if you know, you see which ones you, I would love to have, just kind of what that process is.
And in all probability, this is not something that would come into work this year. I think it would take the process to answer some of the questions that people have. So again, it's not something that I feel like we're going to have to release this time. Okay?
There's approximately 30 or 35 pieces of property in unincorporated areas in the county. That's not just what's in the city. So those are the ones that the FEMA program that the county has to do.
Well, and that's what I need.
Not, you know, I think Lisa's got a copy. We're all ready to pay the county.
Okay, but if it's all right, I'll need to refer to it. All right, well, thank you all.
Most of those do have leases on the front.
All with it.
You have some property that have releases on it.
Well, if it's all right, I'll make them continue, we'll sit down.
The future office will be happy to work with you on this endeavor, and all you have to do is contact the future myself. And we will get that list and work with that.
One other quick thing, most of you are probably aware, we are working on a homeless committee, it's called HOPE, and we are now meeting on a monthly basis, and getting lots of donations, and we are going to pursue that, so if anybody's interested in that, let us know.
Thank you, Representative Jones. Our next person signed up to speak is Sandra Dickens.
You've addressed it, thank you.
Thank you. And the next person is Kimberly Kearney.
I know. I would like to address about the animal shelter. I wrote a letter to all of you all several weeks ago regarding animal rescue, being able to pull from the shelter. That's one of my concerns. I feel like all the rescue should be able to pull from the shelter if they could save a life. To me, I think the director, whoever the director may be, whether it be Mr. Miller or Mr. Simmons or whoever in the future, promote adoptions. I know that there's an overpopulation and euthanasia often has to happen, but if we could promote more adoptions, as an alternative, it would be nice. It would be nice to implement a spay-neuter program that would help with, the overpopulation in the county. Rabies clinic has some volunteers in addition. Maybe inmates could help volunteer at the shelter. Have some Saturday, Sunday adoption clinics, hours where most families work Monday through Friday. Give them opportunity if they do want to adopt. A lot of families go out of the county to adopt from other shelters. I think social media should be allowed to advertise these animals that are available for adoption. All the other animal shelters in the state of Kentucky use Facebook to advertise this animal's here for adoption. They do videos, showing them outside of the caged environment. A lot of times if you go to shelter to look at an animal, they're scared, they're in a cage, think about it, if you're plucked off the street and put in a cage, you're going to be scared and you're not going to be your normal personality. That's all I have as far as the shelter goes. As far as the investigating the shelter, I think an outside entity should investigate. I think it would be a conflict of interest for whoever you all to investigate. I think someone else should investigate the ongoings of the shelter. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Kearney. The next speaker is Sharon Knight.
My name's Sharon Knight. I volunteered at the shelter in 2010, 2011. I personally saw what was going on there. Cats sitting on wire cages. Every time I would put a towel in, it got thrown away instead of washed. Jimmy came at me and told me not to put any more towels in there because they were running out. I was not to give the dogs toys because they got washed down the drain and clogged the drains. People couldn't go in and pick a toy up before they hosed down the kennels. I saw dogs being hosed down instead of taking them and moving them into another kennel to hose and clean the kennels. I saw dogs with no beds, no food because they were bored. You're in a kennel for 24 hours, 7 days a week with nothing to do. You look for things to do. They were chewing on the beds. They chew on the pans. I had a county official ask me to be their eyes and ears to report to them what was going on. When I did, Jimmy came at me and told me I was not allowed to take a dog or cat out of the kennel. He had his finger in my face. I was not only supposed to do what volunteers do. When I asked him what that was, he said no. 99% of the volunteers there are community service. Everyone I saw sat in the break room or in the office the whole time I was there. Nobody walked those dogs. Think of sitting in these little cells, day in, day out, with nothing to do. The cats, like I said, they're sitting on wire cages. I personally made hammocks for those cats to lay in, to get up off of that wire. They disappeared within 2 weeks. The light in that room is turned off all the time. The only light coming in that room is a tiny little window that doesn't even lock right. If you open it up, you have to take a screwdriver to lock it. Now somebody's going to hurt themselves doing that. I said something to him about that. I said something to the official about that too. But nothing had been done. I said something about having the hours extended. Everybody that worked in there, except for Jimmy, said that they would take a day off and come in on Saturday for adoptions. But that was not their say. That was Jimmy's say. It's his shelter. He runs it as he wants. No oversight whatsoever. It's inhumane to leave those animals.
Ms. Knight, your time is up.
Any questions?
Comment from the board? Ms. Knight?
Yes. Yes, sir?
You've got a 1 minute rebuttal if you want to use that.
I just think it's quite inhumane to have a person. To me, being a game warden is not a criteria to be head of the shelter.
Yes.
You do not have pictures of animals you've hunted and killed posted on a board where everybody can see. Do you think that's acceptable? No.
No.
No, I don't think any of y'all, have any of y'all even been in the shelter? Has anybody worked in the shelter? Taken time to volunteer? You don't know what's going on. Somebody has to be in charge and say, okay, this is what's going on here. Not just take this person's word for it. You've got so many people here that are telling you and have called and complained, have written letters and complained. There's people I've talked to that couldn't be here because they had to work. And they've been thrown out of that place. I was told to leave and not come back.
Ms. Knight, thank you.
Thank you.
Entertained motion to adjourn. No, wait a minute.
We got Jimmy and Mike.
Yes, we got to deal with that. Mike, you want to go first?
I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page about the resolution that was passed on the overtime. We were told it was budgeted overtime, we were good to go. Would you talk to the one that's cutting the checks? She's not going to cut a check on return of time for any overtime, which will bring Ms. Majors from Labor Relations down here the following week, mandating that we pay the overtime within 7 days. So I want to make sure we clarify, if it's no overtime, at 12 o'clock today, we will have no ambulances on the street. Because they are on their long week for the 48-hour stretch for their scheduled overtime because they're on 12-hour shifts. We have 5 openings with the 3 openings that we just discussed, and 2 workman's comp claims going on for a total of 5 individuals that are off. Those 5 individuals cover 2.5 trucks. We have scheduled overtime, which I can cancel. But if there is no overtime, the only thing and the only option I have to do is to go below minimum staffing requirements of 5 trucks or dispatch and leave them open. And then once we leave trucks, I start pulling trucks in from Mount Washington to the central area, north end to central area based on the number of trucks. Case in point, if we wouldn't have paid overtime out last Friday on the third shift, we would not have had a dispatcher on the third shift. So all I'm asking for is clarification so when I walk out this door, we know what to do. I have scheduled overtime because they are on 12-hour shifts. We went to 12-hour shifts because it eliminated 7 full-time positions, and that's how it saved us money when we did it. So I have scheduled overtime, unscheduled overtime. The only time we award overtime is if they're filling in for sick call, workman's comp, FMLA, or vacations. If you eliminate all overtime, I will put them on 8-hour shifts. We'll go down to 3 trucks every 8-hour shifts. And I can assure you, in 2 weeks, I will have a stack of resignations to handle it. I understand what you're trying to do, but there are consequences to that. It doesn't say what's scheduled. My salary line item is within the normal range it should be. We have almost 32 hours of mandatory training coming up, which I can get prior approval before we bring it in and explain it. But this scheduled overtime for the 12-hour shifts and filling openings because of vacation or sick time, I need to get pre-approval on that for now, and then maybe report to you every payroll what it was so that you're seeing what it is, and then we can work through it that way. But if we just blanket eliminated it, every employee that I have has overtime from midnight tonight for second shift, and noon today. They will go home so that we do not accrue any more overtime. And what I'll do is I'll start over next week, and come next Tuesday or Monday, they'll go home and we won't have coverage. You know, depending on what you guys tell me, we'll have some flexibility, but it's going to minimize the coverage within the county. And keep in mind, we are running out of ambulances 6 to 7 times a week. And if I cut coverage, I can't go to the other counties and expect them to pick up the slack because we've cut out overtime and have it incurred. And once I start losing coverage, we cut. I will call and tell Jewish Scout to start calling yellow for all transfers because we no longer can handle them. We're going to lose $40,000 a month to save 20. We're not going to accomplish anything based on that. So what I'm asking for is to at least approve the scheduled overtime so that the employees can remain on 12-hour shifts. And then what I need is an approval to at least allow me to fill vacation and sick time with overtime.
The whole reason, and the tell is our budget. You know, overtime is a costly. It's time and a half. And I understand the process that you're in. We need another process. However it can be, if we need to run 12-hour shifts and to do 32, just like a nurse does. If you're running 12-hour shifts, running 12 hours and paying for 40, this overtime is killing us. I mean, it's absolutely, in my business, if I run overtime, Lord have mercy, that's wasting money. And it's not doing any of the employees any money either, because if they're making time and a half, they get 40% of that. You know, because time and a half, when you go to overtime, it's going to double your tax rate. So that's what we're looking at, the process. And I understand where we're at, but I totally do. This county has run this way, you know, it's been a process. We're looking to save these people money, plain and simple. And I understand what you're saying. I grant you. I mean, I know it's been like that, and I know what we need. And I don't know what the magistrates want to do is we've got to have a program. We've got to have something. If it's something that we want to delay on overtime for a week and then bring another scheduling situation in where we can eliminate the overtime, if it's possible, you know, I'm okay with that. But I just, Lord have mercy, when I sit down and look at their bills and the stuff we're paying, and I understand it's in your budget, but, you know, I mean.
And I understand what you're saying, but the scheduled overtime, I can eliminate the scheduled overtime today. We're going to go hire 7 more employees.
Yeah.
I'll put them on shift. So we've eliminated scheduled overtime. We've hired 7 full-time employees that are gonna cost us more than what we're paying now for the scheduled overtime. So now I put 7 more bodies in that are gonna average 3.5 weeks of sick time and vacation time that they're gonna take off. So do I go hire another 10 full-time positions to pay or sit around to fill in? See what I'm getting? The problem is, we're saving money by running 12-hour shifts. We're not spending more money. I have to put a butt in the seat. I have to have 2 people on an ambulance by law. Now, I can cut staffing, and I can cut the minimum. I go from 5 mandatory trucks that we will not schedule less than and keep going to. If I honor this, that's what I'll do. And we'll run 1 truck for the county. Right, we would have been at 2 trucks 3 weeks ago. I mean, so it's not.
I understand the
I don't, but I just want to go on record, so when we're down to 1 truck, and we're averaging 35 runs a day, and we're down to 1 truck to cover that, or we go down to no trucks, and I'm scrambling to get mutual aid.
So what you're telling me is that with your scheduling process, you can't hire the right amount of people to not have overtime. There's no way possible that any of these counties, that there's no way that you can adjust your schedule without overtime to stay in your budget.
Every emergency service, ambulance service is either 24 or 12-hour shift service, so they have the built-in overtime. I could go out and try to hire 7 more people to eliminate the scheduled overtime. You've been sitting in that chair for 2.5 months, and I've hired 5 people for EMS. So now I want to put another 7 bodies over in my department and try to hire those. I can't even hire what I have to have now. And now you want me to go out and find people that's going to get cut to 8-hour shifts and start getting every 6 weekends off. Please come join us. I can't get you to join us for every other weekend off on an additional 8 hours of pay. These people physically work 84 hours and we pay them 88 hours. They get paid an additional 4 hours a paycheck. Yeah, it's overtime, but they're physically working 84 hours and they get paid 88. That's what we're doing. And to stop that, I have to go hire 7 more full-time people. We're going to pay them holiday vacation, workman's comp, uniforms, holiday pay. And we're going to actually pay more to run 8-hour shifts than we're paying now on 12-hour shifts. And then I have to put, if they have to take vacations. They have to call them sick. I've got 2 on workman's comp. They were injured on the job. I've got to put a button in their seat to cover it to run a truck for they have 2 on a truck.
I totally understand. It's a business. It's got to be run. It's got to be run efficiently. You know, I'm looking at my window, and now you're telling me your window. You know, I'm looking at bottom numbers. I'm looking at what we can do to try to make this county more efficient.
And I respect that in your work, and I respect you to try to think. I think if you guys start getting phone calls, that we're down to 2 trucks and that somebody had to wait an hour for an ambulance, I at least, if I was going to walk out here in an hour, because that's what you guys wanted to figure out all the information. But when I heard from one that said it's scheduled and you're good to go, and the treasurer said she's not going to cut a check, I just wanted to make clear that we were all on the same page. And because if I work them and she doesn't pay them, then we've got a completely different beast with labor relations, because by law we have to pay them for hours worked within 7 days of the pay period. So all I'm asking is, at least while we work through this, Keith's asked me to do a presentation to the Emergency Services Board tomorrow, at least allow me to keep the scheduled overtime so that we're not trying to juggle around the 8-hour shifts. The scheduled overtime is 384 hours of pay period, and it saves us from having 7 other full-time positions within the service.
I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but I'm okay maybe amending that motion to May 1st, and the department heads that have, and I know Martha's probably going to have a situation too, Jimmy, they're all going to have situations. You know, we're all going to have problems, I promise you, and I understand, and I really do. It's easier just to do whatever. But I'm okay with, if you guys, and it's totally up to you, amending their motion till May 1st, when the department heads can look at their schedules and try to adjust their schedules to meet that motion.
You want to put that on the motion, Jeff?
If it's okay with you, I'll make a motion that we amend,
I'll go on to the first of May, see what can be worked out.
see if we can work out the scheduling process.
Well, I think the education.
May 5th.
Next fiscal court meeting is May 5th, so we want to get until that.
Okay.
Only a few more days, that.
Let's go to May 5th.
That at least gets us, because we get paid next Friday, and that's before the next fiscal court meeting, so the May 1st or the May 5th gets us into another pay period. My concern was next Thursday, there was no fiscal court meeting, and how we
go to
ran
the 5th, we go to the 5th, I think next quarter.
Next court meeting. What I would like, department heads, and I understand if it's possible that you can show the court how this overtime is going to benefit us without having to do overtime.
With mine, there is no way of telling. A lot of my overtime is on medical. If a person goes down, they take them out, and they go to the hospital. A person has to sit there with them 24/7. We had to switch off.
So it's all overtime when we're sitting there?
Well, yeah, because somebody's got to take that place of the person that's working out of jail. I have a deputy sitting inside the hospital with an inmate 24/7. So you have one sitting there. I tried 10 hours and we've tried 12 hours. And you have, the deputy has to come back to the jail, punch out, while the other deputy's in there. Well, those two deputies, somebody has to take their spot there at the jail. And if you have a call-in on that time, I have two people that's leaving that's going to the street. So I have two new people that's being trained. I mean, it's almost I can't tell you what my overtime is. I've always been cautious on my overtime because I know that it's a costly thing. We're very cautious on it. But if we get down to a very minimal, you talk about cutting, if we get down to a very minimal in that jail and DLC picks up and we don't have enough to cover that, what they're going to do, they're going to come in and they're going to pull every one of those state inmates out. And any jail in the state of Kentucky will take them. And they're going to place their state inmates somewhere else. And then we're going to lose that $100,000 we make on those state inmates a month. That's what's happening.
I understand you run a business. It's their money. I think that we can be more efficient at it. That's what we're trying to do.
And I understand that.
And I understand that, the worst possible scenario is we're losing $100,000. We're causing a disaster. Everything's going to be absolutely the worst possible thing in your mind. But all we're asking you to do is look at your schedule, look at your books, remind you that it is county tax money. And I understand you know that. But I'm telling you from our book business, we're trying to remind you that this is higher standard than the money in our pocket. That's the way we look at it. So what I'm looking at is we're trying to ask you to look at your books, look at your schedule, look at your hires, and see how we can, to look and see how we can be more efficient at what we're doing.
And I understand that.
We thank you for your service. We're just trying, we're not up here throwing fishes. We're not up here throwing rocks. We're not up here picking on anybody. You guys voted us in to do our job.
Well, I have a vacancy because I had a girl quit, and I did several interviews last week. So now you're telling me I can't hire anybody to fill that position?
You have to bring it in front of fiscal court for all.
All right, we've got a motion.
Because I have money in the budget. We also have overtime that we have meetings, monthly meetings, and we have overtime for that.
Again, bring it right for fiscal court to get it.
We've got a motion, a second on the floor. Discussion? All right. Please, you read that motion.
The motion is to amend the previous motion, so make it so the department heads their schedules making proper adjustments to fit the resolution.
All right.
Are we amending the resolution across the board or
Yes.
just on Mike's department?
Across the board.
So we're basically tabling the resolution until May 5th?
So,
Okay.
Ashley, please, you call the roll.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
yes.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mike, for making us aware of that.
Jimmy, we need to,
It's okay. It will be.
that take care of what you need to do?
Yes, sir. Right now. I'll take care of it.
Okay. Larry? Yep, we're about to wrap it up. Hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second? I'll second.